So today we have Allee Southerland with us, and we're so excited. She is a woman in agriculture, and we are going to be quizzing her over her experiences. She's a tech student, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself. Here's Allee.
Hey guys, this is Allee, like Sierra said. I am a sophomore here at Arkansas Tech University. I'm currently majoring in agriculture business pre-vet. I hope to become a vet one day after I go to vet school, Lord willing, of course. I am a outgoing person. I love to talk people's ear off, and I have a lot of animals of my own, and I'm an animal lover, of course.
Allee, I guess I got the perfect person to do this podcast with. If you like to talk your ear off, sounds like a great fit. So tell me a little bit about the animals that you have back at home and kind of what sparked your interest in going to ag. Does your family have a background? And just give me all the tea on you.
So that's actually pretty funny because I like to say that there's a stereotype with people that go into ag that you have to come from an agricultural background, and I actually do not whatsoever. My mom is a teacher and my dad is a meat cutter, so I didn't have anybody in my family that really pushed me towards the ag field. I just have a extreme love for animals and just being outside, which sparked me getting some goats and some chickens. And I have many dogs that I just can't say no to when they show up at my doorstep, and cats and everything. Just about anything that has fur and will lick you is my kind of animal right there. I live out in the middle of nowhere too, so it's really a perfect spot for me to have all of my animals. But like I said, I kind of just did this on my own. I came up with that. I didn't have to come from that background, and I wanted to just jump into it, so that's what I did.
So Allee, tell me a little bit about your family. Were they supportive of you coming into a background that they weren't necessarily familiar with, or going into an education, I guess I should say, with that way they weren't familiar with? You know, a lot of people think that it's just bred into you and you're going to go back to the family farm or go on with the industry because your dad did it. Tell me a little bit about the family aspect for you.
Well, actually, my family is very supportive. My mom always says that she's known ever since I was little. Of course, she's a little biased, but that I would do big and great things, I guess is what you would say. So they love it. They are so eager to learn because they know not absolutely nothing, but they don't know much about all the agricultural aspects and like just everything about this field. They love to learn, and they're so eager for me to learn, and they just like to watch me succeed and grow. And I like to say that they grow with me, really. So they are very welcoming in my pursuit of this education.
So with your family being in such support, I have to ask, who is your biggest influence in life and why? This is always just such an interesting question to have people answer because there's so many impacts on your life that you don't even realize.
I would say probably the generic answer would be someone's mom or like your grandma and stuff, and they are very strong influences in my life. But actually, probably the biggest one that like impacted me would be a teacher I had in high school who I'm actually still very good friends with. She herself owns 4 businesses on her own, and she is just a super hardworking person, and she constantly has taught me. I feel like some of my ability to work hard and like strive for what I want comes from her because of what she taught me in her class and outside of her classroom as I worked with some of her businesses too and stuff. And she didn't come from much when she was little. And she knew that she never wanted to live that way. So that's why she works her butt off for her to enjoy her life now. And that's kind of what I see that as. I didn't come from the worst life, but I didn't have the best childhood. So if I can work my butt off to get somewhere where I want to be, like that's really what influences me a lot. So she is a big impact on my life today.
That is so awesome. I always love to hear people's stories about where they come from and what makes them them. So tell me, let's get in the meat and potatoes of this little podcast thing that we're doing. Tell me what people miss misunderstand about the agriculture industry and, people wanting to go to school for it, but not really wanting to take that next leap into it because they're scared. Just let's hash out the facts.
So that kind of goes with what I said in the beginning, that I didn't come from an agricultural background, and it's like a stereotype that you have to, or that you have to be, like a man who gets his hands dirty every day. And it's like a typical farmer. Like when you think of farmer, you don't think of a girl for sure. So I would say just the fact that it's intimidating because of the stereotypes and stuff, that makes me more eager to do it. And little do people know that women are such a large aspect of all the agricultural stuff, and really the same thing a man can do, a woman's right behind him doing. I mean, they just don't always get the same amount of credit. But women are so much more involved than what is shown on the outsides. I think they're more of, like you said, the meat and the potatoes on the inside of what's happening in the whole sector of things. So I think that they're very much hidden in the whole aspect.
So being women in agriculture, both you and I, what do you think that are some of the greatest challenges that we have to overcome and step forth within the next 10 years? And, women are taking on these leadership roles now that they've never taken on in the ag industry before. What things can we do to grow and build upon that to be a more rounded, better agricultural community?
I think, honestly, if women just keep doing what they're doing, they're going to come out on top, as you could say. They haven't always had the same resources and accessibility as men have in the whole sector, whether it be in the United States. Luckily, I would say the United States is a lot better off compared to more rural developing countries and stuff. But in order to come out on top, we just got to show them what we can do. I mean, we can do the same thing that they can do, and honestly, we might even be able to do it better. I mean, I am a little biased, but we can for sure probably do it a little bit better. So as long as we can just show our worth by our actions and just by being classy and showing them just what we're capable of, I feel like we could definitely achieve those goals and become equal in the whole agricultural sector.
That is such a great answer. You are such a boss, babe. Thank you so much for joining me today and letting me pick your brain a little bit on these topics. So let's round it out by you telling me if you could give advice to yourself back in high school, freshman year, what would be the one piece of advice you would give yourself?
I know it's trashy, but in the words of Nike, I would say just do it, because there's absolutely nothing that can hold you back from what you want to do. Not the stereotypes, not the fact that people say you can't do it. You can do it, and don't be scared, because you're capable of absolutely anything and everything that you set your mind to.
Thank you so much, so much for joining me here today. It was so great getting to pick your mind, learn so much about you and about your passion, and you taught me a thing or two about the industry.